Ladies and gentlemen, we often speak of dreams, the ones that shimmer in our eyes, echo in our hearts, and refuse to let us sleep. But today, I want to talk about something quieter, something less glamorous, something that doesn't sparkle on stage but builds the very stage you stand on. Discipline. Into the heart. You see, discipline isn't loud, it doesn't beg for attention, it doesn't come with applause. It is that quiet, stubborn force that wakes you up when the world is sleeping. It is the voice that says, no, not yet. Your work isn't done. It is the reason why ordinary people achieve extraordinary things. We live in a world of distractions. A world that tells you, take it easy, you've done enough. But dreams, real dreams, are not achieved by doing enough. They are built by going the extra mile, over and over again. Especially when no one is watching. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. It is the strength to say and no to comfort so you can say as the growth. But let me be honest with you, discipline is not easy. It's not poetic. It doesn't feel good. It hurts. It tests you. It demands sacrifices. But when you start walking that path, when you refuse to give up, you begin to respect yourself. And that self-respect, it's priceless. There was a time in my life when I thought motivation was enough. But motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire. Motivation may get you started, but only discipline will keep you going. And here's the truth no one tells you. You won't always feel strong. You won't always feel inspired. But you must always show up. Not for the world, not for applause, but for yourself. Because the real victory is not in reaching the goal. It's in becoming the person who never gave up on the way there. So wake up. Stand up. Even if your hands are trembling and your heart is tired, discipline yourself, not to please the world, but to honor the greatness within you. Your dreams are waiting. We all have dreams. Some are loud, like the dream to stand on a stage, be heard by millions, or build something that lasts forever. Others are quiet, like the dream to be at peace with who you are, to heal from what hurt you, or to become someone your younger self would be proud of. But here's a truth we often ignore. Dreams don't work unless you do, and that work, that consistent, often uncomfortable, always demanding work, is called discipline. Discipline isn't just about waking up early or checking tasks off a list. It's not just about routines, alarms, and planners. No. Discipline is a mindset, a commitment. A promise you make to yourself and keep, even when no one is watching. It's the inner strength that whispers, keep going when everything in you wants to stop. You see, we've been taught to romanticize the dream. We admire the success stories, the highlight reels, the finished products. But we forget the process. We forget the early mornings filled with doubt, the lonely nights filled with repetition, the failures that go unseen, the sacrifices that go unrecognized. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is essential. Think of any great achiever, any artist, athlete, scientist, entrepreneur, or leader. Behind every success, there's a long history of ordinary days filled with disciplined action. Days where they didn't feel inspired, but they showed up anyway. Days where they failed, but tried again. Days where comfort called, but they chose growth instead. That's what discipline looks like. It's not perfection, it's persistence. Discipline teaches you to trust yourself. In a world that's always changing, where people's opinions shift and motivation fades, discipline is your anchor. It reminds you that you are capable, even when you feel like you're not. It grounds you in your values. It keeps you aligned with your purpose. And let me tell you something that might surprise you. Discipline gives you freedom. Yes, freedom. Because when you are disciplined, you're not controlled by moods, emotions, or distractions. You don't wait for the right time or the perfect feeling. Because your dream deserves action, not excuses. And the best part, discipline is not a talent. It's not something you're born with or without. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be built. One small decision at a time. You start by doing what you said you would do. You set small goals and follow through. You stop breaking promises to yourself. And with every act of discipline, you grow stronger, more focused, more confident. Eventually, discipline becomes part of who you are. You no longer ask, can I do this? You say, I will do this, no matter how long it takes. And that mindset, that fire, that quiet, unshakable belief in yourself, that is the real foundation of every dream. Because talent may open the door, Motivation may light the path, but only discipline will carry you to the end. So the next time you feel tired, the next time you want to give up, the next time you think your dream is too far, remember this: discipline is what bridges the gap between who you are and who you want to become. Honor that, practice that, live that, because your dream is worth it, and so are you. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire, written in a motivational, storytelling tone that's emotionally resonant and reflective, perfect for a speech or solo talk. We all know that feeling. That surge of excitement when you watch an inspiring video, hear a powerful story, or read a quote that shakes your soul. For a moment, you feel unstoppable. You start planning. You feel ready to conquer the world. That feeling, we call it motivation. But let me tell you something important. Motivation is a spark, and a spark is not enough to keep a fire burning. You see, motivation is beautiful, but it is also fleeting. It comes like a wave, strong, energetic, full of life, but waves retreat, that's their nature. And when it retreats, if you don't have something stronger to hold on to, you'll find yourself stuck. Stuck in the same place, with the same habits, with the same unfinished goals. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is not flashy. It doesn't rush in like a wave. It doesn't need background music or applause. It is the quiet decision to show up, again and again, no matter how you feel. Motivation might get you to the gym on the first day. Discipline is what gets you there on the 50th day when you're tired, sore, and the excitement is gone. Motivation might help you start writing your book. Discipline is what helps you write the next chapter, even when the words don't come easily. Motivation might push you to set big goals. But it is discipline that breaks them down into daily actions and sticks with them even on the days you want to give up. You see, the world celebrates motivation. It looks good in videos, in speeches, on posters. But real growth, the kind that transforms you, doesn't happen in moments of hype. No, it happens in silence, in effort, in struggle. It happens in the fire of discipline. And let me tell you something. You will not always feel motivated. That's the truth no one likes to say. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel strong. Some days you'll feel tired, some days broken. Some days completely lost. But that doesn't mean you stop. Because discipline says you don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. That's what makes discipline powerful. It doesn't rely on feelings. It relies on decisions. It trains your mind to act even when your heart wants to quit. And here's the beautiful twist. The more you practice discipline, the more you begin to respect yourself. Because every time you follow through on what you said you would do, you send a message to your mind. I am reliable. I am capable. I can count on myself. That self-trust. That's where confidence is born, not from perfection, but from consistent effort. So yes, let motivation spark the fire. Let it excite you. Let it open the door. But don't wait for it to stay. Don't expect it to carry you. Instead, build a fire that burns from within, a fire fed by discipline. Because in the end, your success will not be measured by how motivated you felt on your best days, but by how disciplined you were on your worst. So the next time motivation fades, and it will, don't panic, but don't give up. Just smile quietly to yourself and say, and now the real work begins. Because anyone can act when it's easy, but discipline is choosing to keep going when it's not. And that, my friend, is where dreams are built. Not in the spark, but in the fire. Choose what you want most over what you want now. Approximately 700 words, written in a motivational, emotional, and reflective tone. Perfect for a speech or solo talk every day. We are faced with a choice. Not just the big, life-changing decisions, but the small, quiet ones. The ones that whisper instead of shout. The ones that seem unimportant in the moment, but shape the course of our lives over time. Do I hit snooze, or do I get up and pursue my goals? Do I scroll through my phone, or do I read something that feeds my mind? Do I take the easy way or the right way? In those small moments, you are choosing between what you want now and what you want most. It's easy to choose what you want now. Comfort, distraction, pleasure, instant gratification. It feels good. It feels safe. But what you want now is often a temporary fix. It satisfies the moment but starves the future. What you want most, that dream, that version of yourself you're working toward, It takes time. It takes effort. It requires sacrifice. And above all, it demands discipline. Because the truth is, you can't have both. You can't want long-term success and keep choosing short-term comfort. You can't want to be strong while giving into every weakness. You can't want growth and still run from discomfort. You have to choose. And here's the hard part. What you want now will always be louder. It will always scream, or do it later. It will always whisper, it just this once. It will always say, you deserve a break. And yes, rest is important. Joy is important. If you find yourself always choosing what's easy, ask yourself, is this leading me closer to who I want to be or further away? Because discipline is the ability to pause in the moment and say, this might feel good now, but it won't feel good tomorrow. Discipline is choosing the pain of progress over the pain of regret. And regret is heavier than any workout, any late night, any early morning. Regret weighs on your spirit. It whispers you could have done more. You should have tried harder. You were capable, but you chose comfort. The path to what you want most is never easy, but it is always worth it. So ask yourself, do you want to be fit, or do you want another slice of cake? Do you want to grow your business, or spend another hour binge-watching shows? Do you want to write your book, or scroll through social media? Every small choice matters. Because discipline is not one massive act. It's a collection of small, daily victories. And every time you choose what you want most over what you want now, something beautiful happens. You become stronger. Your willpower grows. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence builds. You start trusting yourself. Not just when things are going well, but especially when they're not. And you begin to realize that greatness is not about luck. It's not about talent. It's about choosing your purpose over your pleasure every single day. So the next time you're faced with that quiet decision, the tempting distraction, the easy excuse, the comfortable way out, pause and ask yourself, is this helping me become the person I said I wanted to be? If the answer is no, walk away. Because one day you'll look back at your life, not at the moments of ease, but at the moments where you made the hard choice, the right choice, the disciplined choice. That is how you build a life you're proud of. So choose wisely, choose consistently, and always choose what you want most over what you want now. Your future self is counting on you, let's be honest. There are days when you don't want to do anything, days when the weight of the world sits on your shoulders, days when the mind is foggy, the heart is heavy, and the fire that once burned inside you feels more like smoke. You're exhausted, uninspired, discouraged. And the easiest thing to do is to say, not today. But here's the thing, your dreams don't care how you feel. Your goals don't pause because you're tired. The clock doesn't stop ticking just because you've lost your spark. And that's why the people who succeed in this world, the ones who truly become something more, they have one thing in common. They show up, even when they don't feel like it. That's discipline. That's grit. That's what separates the people who talk from the people who become. Because it's easy to work when you're motivated. It's easy to create when inspiration strikes. It's easy to move when your heart is full and the path is clear. But true greatness is forged on the days when everything inside you screams, I can't. And yet you whisper back, I will. It's in those moments, the low moments, the invisible ones, the hard ones, where your character is built. Because showing up isn't just about progress, it's about integrity. It's about keeping your promises to yourself. It's about saying, I may not be at my best, but I'm still here. It's about reminding yourself that you are more than your mood, more than your fear, more than your exhaustion. And no, you won't always perform perfectly. Some days your work will feel average. Some days you'll barely make it through. But showing up consistently trains your mind to keep moving forward. It says, I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to grow. I don't need to feel ready. I just need to begin. That's how transformation happens, not in bursts of brilliance, but in quiet, determined persistence. Think of a seed in the soil. It doesn't sprout overnight. It doesn't grow because it feels like growing. It grows because day after day it pushes through darkness, through pressure, through resistance, until one day it breaks the surface and becomes something the world can finally see. That's you. Every time you show up tired, uninspired, uncertain, you are pushing through your own soil. And one day, you'll look around and realize that you've broken through. You've become the person you dreamed of being, not because everything was easy, but because you refused to disappear. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if you showed up every day for the next year? Not perfectly, just consistently. What would happen if you honored your goals like they were sacred, even on the days you wanted to hide? Because the real battle is not against the world. The real battle is against your comfort, your doubt, your excuses. And when you learn to win that battle, even a little bit every day, you become unstoppable. So yes, take care of your heart. Rest when you need it. But don't confuse rest with escape. Don't confuse a pause with giving up. Your job is to show up, even when it's messy, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one claps for you. Because when you show up, you don't just move your goals forward. You move yourself forward. You prove to your mind that you are strong, disciplined, and worthy of the future you are building. And that is how greatness is born. We all crave comfort. It's natural. We want to feel safe, secure, unbothered. We build routines, seek stability, and cling to the familiar because it feels good. It feels easy. But what we rarely realize is that comfort has a dark side. Because while it may protect you from pain, it also protects you from growth. Comfort whispers, stay here. You're fine. It tells you that you don't need to try so hard. That failure isn't worth the risk. That effort is unnecessary if things are already okay. And so, little by little, we start settling. We shrink our dreams to fit our surroundings. We silence our ambition so we don't disturb the peace. We choose the known over the possible. And in doing so, we trade greatness for safety. But growth doesn't live in comfort. It lives in the tension. It lives in the unfamiliar, in the difficult, in the stretch between who you are and who you could be. Growth is uncomfortable by design. It's supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to shake you. It's supposed to introduce you to the parts of yourself you've never met before. Because that's where transformation begins, at the edge of what feels safe. Think about it. Every time you've grown in your life, it came through discomfort. Learning something new? Comfortable. Admitting you were wrong? Uncomfortable. Facing your fears, chasing your dreams, stepping away from toxic patterns? All uncomfortable, but necessary. Every version of you that you admire, the stronger, wiser, more confident you, was built in moments that felt difficult, not easy. Comfort keeps you in the same room, staring at the same walls, living the same day on repeat. Growth breaks the walls. It tells you to move, to question, to evolve. And yes, it hurts sometimes. Yes, it's exhausting, but it's also empowering. Because every time you choose to step into discomfort, you prove to yourself that you are not fragile. You are capable. And the truth is, you don't grow by waiting to feel ready. You grow by acting when you're not. By taking the first step when your knees are shaking. By saying yes to the unknown, even when your mind screams no. That's what courage looks like. Not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward in spite of it. Most people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they won't leave what's familiar. They cling to comfort like it's safety, when really it's stagnation. If you stay too long in comfort, you become numb to your potential. You forget what you're capable of. You start believing that where you are is all there is. And that is a quiet kind of death, a life half-lived. But the good news? You get to choose differently. You get to interrupt the cycle. You get to wake up one day and say, I'm done living the same year over and over. You get to choose discomfort, not because you enjoy pain, but because you believe in growth. You believe in becoming. You believe in that future version of yourself who's waiting on the other side of fear. So the next time you feel scared, awkward, or unsure, don't run from it. Recognize it as a sign that you're growing. The burn you feel in your muscles after a workout, that's growth. The frustration you feel when you're learning a new skill, that's growth. The fear you feel right before you try something bold, that's growth. Lean into it. Because the more you lean in, the more you expand. Growth is not comfortable, but comfort is not fulfilling. You weren't made to just survive, you were made to evolve, to stretch, to thrive. To thrive in thriving demands that you let go of what is easy and chase what is meaningful. Don't let comfort talk you out of your potential. Don't let it convince you that average is enough. Step out, mess up, start over. Get stronger, because your best self is not hiding in what you know. It's waiting in what you're willing to discover. So go, be uncomfortable, be bold, be growing. That's where the real you is. Discipline is often misunderstood. People think it's about being strict, about having rules, routines, checklists. But that's not the heart of it. Discipline is not a punishment, it's not a cage. Discipline is a deep form of love, a profound kind of respect. Not for others, but for yourself. It's the decision to stop negotiating with your excuses because you know you deserve better. It's the quiet promise you make in the dark before anyone sees results, when you say, I matter enough to keep showing up for myself. That's what discipline is. It's not about perfection. It's not about punishment. It's about honoring who you say you want to become. When you respect yourself, you don't settle for comfort that leads nowhere. You don't let laziness disguise itself as self-care. You don't hide behind distractions or bury your potential under temporary pleasures. You look yourself in the mirror and say, I want more for me. And then you prove it with your actions. You see, anyone can say they want success. Anyone can talk about goals, dreams, change. But discipline is what separates the wishers from the doers. It's easy to want change. It's hard to commit to it, especially when no one is watching, especially when motivation runs dry, especially when results take longer than expected. But that's where self-respect comes in. Because when you respect yourself, you don't need applause to keep going. You don't need the mood to be right. You don't need things to feel easy. You keep your promises, even when it's inconvenient. You follow through, not because someone else is counting on you, but because you're counting on you. Every time you wake up early when you want to sleep in, every time you put your phone down to focus on your craft, every time you choose what nourishes your future over what numbs the present, that's self-respect. That's discipline. And the beautiful thing is, discipline doesn't take away your freedom. It gives it back to you. When you live with discipline, you're not being controlled, you're taking control. You're saying, I'm not a prisoner to my impulses. I don't have to listen to every craving, every fear, every doubt. You become the driver, not the passenger. That's real power. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's not always visible, but it's deeply felt. You feel it when you look back and realize that even when things were hard, you kept going. You feel it when you see how far you've come. Not because life made it easy, but because you refused to quit on yourself. And let's be honest, there will be days when you mess up, days when you slip, when you take a step backward. That's okay, because discipline isn't about being perfect every day. It's about getting back up every time you fall. It's about saying, I respect myself too much to let one bad day turn into a bad week, or a bad month, or a bad year. You forgive yourself, and then you keep going. Because deep down, you know who you're trying to become. And that person, that future you, is worth fighting for. It's easy to be kind to others. Easy to keep your word when someone else is watching. But discipline is a deeper form of kindness. It's choosing not to betray yourself. It's proving every single day that you are someone who follows through. That your word means something. That your dreams are worth the effort. So when you're tired, when it's hard, when you don't feel like doing it, ask yourself, if I truly respected myself, what would I do right now? And then do that. Because discipline is not a chore, it's a choice. A choice to value your time, your energy, your potential. A choice to say, I won't abandon myself just because it's uncomfortable. Discipline is self-respect in action. And the more you practice it, the louder your confidence grows. Because you're no longer waiting for someone to save you. You're saving yourself, you're becoming the kind of person you can be proud of. Not someday, but today.